Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show. Welcome to my show. I think I can speak for every CEO in the country right now saying that all of us had to find another gear. I own a company here in Dallas. I have about 20 employees, and we had to pivot. You know, our studios shut down. We had to reinvent ourselves. To talk about that today, Tina Greenbaum, she is an author and best-selling speaker and much sought-after international speaker. Tina, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, I know you do a lot of executive coaching across the country, and I can only imagine the conversations that you've had in the last 2 months with some of the folks that you're coaching. How did your clients adapt to this new normal?
Well, I think leaders who are really been leading for quite some time have an understanding that they need to pivot. I mean, it's just a wonderful book, Who Moved My Cheese, is really up right now. So people are talking about, number one, how they're caring for their employees, how they're doing their business. I think last on the list, perhaps, is how they're caring for themselves. Sort of where I come in a little bit.
Well, so you wrote a best-selling book, Mastery Under Pressure. We've got a shot of the cover of the book on the screen right now. Tell us about the book. What made you write it?
So by training, I am a psychotherapist, and I started out many, many years ago working with women with eating disorders, actually, and addictions, and you name it, they had it. And so I recognized really early that my traditional Western training was insufficient because I could talk. And I used to say to these young women, I hear you, but I don't feel you. And if I don't feel you, you're not going to change. And I want to be successful. So it took me into the world of mind-body work. I started doing a yoga class, and I got into this deep state of relaxation. I said, wow, if I could only get these young women to do this, then maybe they wouldn't need their eating disorder. And that was the beginning for me of a long career of how do I help somebody actually change? And so what I found, again, is people lack skill. I always say that good mental health is not a natural sport, it's a learned sport. And so I talk a lot about if you were an Olympic level athlete, you would no sooner go out there to compete without training the mental side, and yet we put people into high pressured, high stakes environments with no training. And so I took a lot of the many things that I've learned over the years, all kinds of techniques and strategies and sports psychology and Western learning theory. And now we have the neuroscience to back up what many of the ancient gurus and have known for centuries. And so I just kind of put it all together and built this program. And so I teach focus, relaxation, dealing with negative self-talk, how to visualize, and dealing with fear. And nothing could be more useful at this particular moment in time, especially.
Wow. And I have to compliment you. I'm a speaker, but you're one of the most dynamic speakers I've ever run across. We've got a clip that we're going to roll right now.
Okay, so when somebody tells you to just do it, come on, girls, come on, guys, just pick up that phone and just do it. There's a lot more to it, would we say? So stress comes along, hits our buffer. We can manage it in here pretty well, but man, if it's more than we can handle, we go right off the chart.
Where do you need your energy? when you're doing a talk, a presentation, right? You need heart and mind. You need it here. You need to be grounded. You need it in your feet.
But what happens when we get scared is the energy just leaves us. Okay, it goes way up into our head or out of our body, and we can't connect. And when we can't connect, we feel like we're cut off by the head. So I always say, people ask me what I do, is I teach people how to get below the neck. Mental skills requires practice and training and repetition. So we are constantly being asked to move forward. There's an impulse in us to increase, to become more, to grow more, to learn more, to earn more. My entire career has been about how do I help somebody change at a fundamental level. Okay, so our thoughts are part of it, but they're only a part. So we want to become very, very mindful. And this is something that I teach a lot, because you have to become aware before you can change.
I like to look at this stuff from a mind and a body perspective. I'm actually a psychotherapist. I've been a psychotherapist for 30-some years, and always looking at how do we change?
Conscious mind is finite. Now I want you to think about a job that you would like to get done really well. So part of my work is about peak performance. How do we actually perform at our highest level when we're under stress? When we slow down the body, the brain slows down. And when the brain slows down, we have space.
Wow, that was amazing. It occurs to me that what you're doing is you're drawing some analogies from sports that could help any executive. I think about, there are times in my life when I'm under a great deal of pressure, but I look at these quarterbacks that live for the pressure. I mean, when they were little kids playing football, they weren't dreaming of winning 100-0. They dreamed of being down by a touchdown with time running out. Can you teach people how to thrive under pressure?
Yes. I think you have to understand, number one, yourself, because different people respond differently. I have a son that was an elite soccer player, played up to the national level. And he used to say, if I don't have butterflies in my stomach, something's wrong. And so he learned to identify those butterflies in his stomach as excitement. So fear and excitement are flip sides actually of the same emotion. And great athletes perform really, really well under pressure because they have practiced their craft over and over and over and over and over again. I go like this because when you practice something over and over, it goes into the unconscious mind, and it's that muscle memory piece that we can learn to depend on it. Again, like when we're driving a car, we're not thinking all the time, I'm driving the car. The car drives, and then many times our minds go into other places. So over time, we learn to trust that what we have practiced over and over and over again is going to be there for us. It also doesn't mean that these thoughts don't come through. What if? Think of an Olympic level athlete. Really, if you're in the Olympics, you get one chance for 4 years of training and a whole lifetime's worth of training. So if I'm thinking about, I only have one chance and I better do this, well, now our focus is completely gone because now we're focusing on the outcome as opposed to being in the moment, in the present moment. And so we have to be able to put all these pieces together. The more you practice, the more the training goes into the mind body and opens up the right side of the brain where our creativity is, where images and things that we put together, well, actually the big mind does it for us. So as an executive or an Olympic level athlete, we have to learn exactly where to focus, because the unconscious mind is finite, and as soon as we take our focus off of that, we no longer have our presence of mind to do exactly what we need to do in the actual moment.
Absolutely, and I just to put an exclamation point on that point, I think the employees always kind of look to the executive on whether or not they should be fearful. And I think about that quarterback with time running out. In that huddle, they're looking to the quarterback for confidence that, hey, we've got this. I'll see you in the end zone. Talk about how fear on the C level can actually infect an entire organization.
So I actually did a talk not too long ago, and somebody asked me the same question. So if you think about a parent, and the parent doesn't know everything, but the child needs to know that the parent is in charge. And it's the same thing for the executive. So you want to be transparent. That's sort of the new way these days, really. It's different from the old way where executives could hide behind, many people and many doors. Now you've got to be out front. You've got to be, accessible and authentic and transparent. And at the same time, you want to actually let your people know that you have their back, that you are in charge. Now, let's just say you may not be feeling it 100%, but that's not what you want to communicate. But you do want to take those fears and work with somebody else on the sidelines who you can confide in, and you can really share your fears so that when you go back out into your, onto the floor with your employees, you present that feeling of confidence. And it doesn't mean you're lying. It means you're telling the truth, but you're the one that's holding that energy of, I've got your back and I'm going to figure this out. We're going to figure this out for you, and we're going to figure it out together.
Wow. Tina, I could talk to you for hours. You're amazing, and I appreciate you coming on the show and giving us your wisdom. We're going to put the website up on the screen. MasteryUnderPressure.com is the website. Get a hold of Tina for all your speaking needs and coaching needs. And Tina, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thanks so much, Jeff.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.